Hello and welcome to Straight Talk for Burnt Out Mums. Today I have Jenny Williams with me and she is an accountability coach for women. Nice to have you on, Jenny.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No worries. So can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Jenny Williams, mum of one, and come from a corporate background. So I was an MD at the age of 30, and then I went to have a little child, and then obviously demoted myself and kind of had to find the balance between motherhood and kind of corporate life.
Hmm.
So went back part time. Now own my own business called Inspire and Achieve, helping women who are very similar to me that kind of try to find the balance of coming from this identity of a career woman, becoming a mum, and then trying to work out navigate their way through that. So I've been doing Inspire and Achieve now for over 2.5 years. And yeah, I kind of love helping women. And I think it's for me, it's about paying forward where I've come from, my experiences, and then how other people can follow in that way. Because I think sometimes it's really hard to the pressure on ourselves, the pressure of society. Sometimes we don't know how to do it all, and we can do it all. It's just about different tools and techniques to get there. So,
Yeah, definitely,
yeah.
without a doubt. And I think you're very much like me that you've got lived experience. So actually you're the
Yes.
best person to help other people.
Yes. Yeah. And I think all the time you're going through the journey, you don't realize that you're on your journey yourself. And then, but
Hmm.
when you start to share with others, they're just like, oh, I wish I knew this sooner and all that type of stuff. So it's almost naturally, I've naturally become a coach without it being like, oh, this is my passion and I really want to do this. It's almost like it's just naturally flourished from that, from helping others, from being through it myself and just
Hmm.
seeing the transformation that other people make just from a little bit of advice and support. So,
Yeah, and that was
yeah.
exactly like me. That's how I sort of got myself to the position that I'm in now. It's you just want to give back, don't you? And the sort of personalities we are, it's so
Yes.
important to give back. So how old is your little one now?
So she's 5 now. So she's just finishing her first year of proper school. So that again was a
Yeah,
whole adjustment in life as well. So
yeah,
no one's kind of what's it called? Kind of gives you the booklet in regards to how to deal with changing your routines and trying to fit
no,
10 hours of work into six and
yeah.
the lovely school holidays and school runs and everything else in between. So yeah, she's just finished or finishing off her first year at school
Mhm.
and she's loving it. So that obviously absolutely helps as well.
And isn't it crazy how quick? Like you think 6 hours. I've got 6 hours. I can get
Yeah.
so much done. And before you know it, it's lunchtime. Before you know it, it's 2 o'clock and you're having to get yourself prepared to do the school run.
Yeah, and I feel like the 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock whizzes within seconds because you're like, oh, I better start getting ready in a minute. And you're like, oh my God, I need to be out the door.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like a panic stations
Or
going
you
in
do
the
that,
morning
oh,
and
I'll
again at
just
night.
I'll just quickly do this before I go. And then before you know it, it's me like I'm 2:45 and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to run up that hill to go and get the boys.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's a whole kind of change of structure as well, which is something that you're not prepared for as well, which is a good
Yeah.
thing.
And then when she goes into year one, obviously it's no longer so much play, is it? It's going to be more structured. So you're going to get the tired,
The
hungry,
tired version of an
upset.
emotional
Yeah.
projector, yes, because
Yes.
her human design's projectors. So that's interesting when you find out about human design as well.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting. So how have you found it having a new business? Obviously, I know you're 2.5 years in now, but how have you found having a
Mm.
new business whilst raising a family?
Yeah, it's weird because I still feel like it's a really new business. So
Hmm.
even though I said 2.5 years, I still feel like I'm still evolving. I'm changing the way it is and all that type of stuff. So it still feels very much in its infancy. But now I'm kind of a little bit further into my business. I can't imagine life not doing a business and
Yeah.
trying to raise a family. So like I said, I come from a corporate background where you're working all hours that God sends against
Hmm.
deadlines, working with people, all of that kind of big strategy stuff. And almost going from that to then going on maternity leave was a massive shock to the system because it was almost like, right, okay, I'm used to being this kind of person. Now I've got to be this
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
person. And I always knew I wanted to still have a job. I still wanted to have an independence of my own, a career
Hmm.
of my own of some
Hmm.
sort. I wasn't one of those mums that was like, oh, I think I want to just have kids and that's it. And that's what my duty is going to be. My duty was always going to be, I'm going to have a purpose and independence of my own, but I also want to have children as well. And that
Yeah.
would be part of the flow.
Yeah.
And I almost find the system, unfortunately, and kind of employment in general just doesn't fit into that model of balance. And
No.
that's why more like mumpreneurs or whatever they call them, and mums that are joining into their own business and creating their businesses, because they almost not don't have an option, but there's just not enough flexibility. And when you are quite passionate and quite career minded, or quite I don't know, quite strong willed and passionate about what you do, it almost doesn't matter how you're getting paid. It's just about your purpose of pushing forward.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, I almost made my business fit into my life and my motherhood and all that type of stuff, instead of the business trying to fit into the child, if that makes sense. So I did go back after having Isabel when she was at nursery, and I was working 3 days a week, but I was actually more working kind of 5 days a week, but I was only getting paid for 3. So then I went up to 4 days, because I was like, I'm not going to do more days and not get paid. So I went up to 4, but still was working on the Friday.
Yeah.
And I think that's where almost my loss of identity came. I didn't actually think it was after having the baby. It was almost when I went back, my expectation of myself was how I used to be.
Yeah.
The expectation of the people around me in the business was how I used to be. And now I have this little person that's kind of taking priority, but also there's all this priority in the business as well. So that was when I was almost a little bit like, I'm just juggling all these plates, and I just can't be a good mum, and I can't be a good businesswoman, and I'm not doing good at this, and I've got deadlines for that, and working evenings, we all know how it works. But I think that's when we got to a pivotal moment in COVID that made me look at things a little bit more differently. I think that was and a lot of people and a lot of kind of business women that I speak to are very similar. COVID kind of was a little bit of an opportunity and a light bulb moment of, hang on, is this really what I want to do if I'm going to be stuck at home? Am I really living life to the full potential? Because a pandemic can make you kind of look a bit differently. And I just really vividly remember being on Zoom calls, because I was still working for my other business at that point. And giving Isabel a packet of crisps, chucking her in front of the telly and hoping that she didn't come and disturb me before the Zoom had finished, And I just thought, what am I doing? Like, this is just not, one, it's not fair on her. I feel like rubbish because I'm just trying to push her out of the way.
Yeah, fob her off.
And and then I just come across, I don't know, a positive environment, a community of women that were kind of progressing forward. Originally, it come from me losing weight. So I use Herbalife products, and that's how I kind of started into a business environment, was through network marketing.
Yeah.
And I just being around positive people just kind of lit me up. And I was just like, oh my God, this is really lovely to be around people that are kind of cheering you on and supportive and all that lovely stuff. And we got to a point with COVID, with the business, and that was slowly declining, purely because we obviously needed sales to be able to generate revenue. That went into liquidation. And I was like, right, here's my pivotal moment where I can go and find another job, or I kind of create a path for myself. So the network marketing was that starting point of me dipping my toe in the water of a self-employed environment. So it was starting a business, but without all of the stuff that you didn't know already. So it was almost like a packaged way of starting your own business. And that's kind of how it started, of me building the brand of Inspire and Achieve. Herbalife was always going to be underneath it and part of a kind of thing, an opportunity of what I offer. But it then grew so much more than that. It was like all about mindset, everything about habits, about your environment, about your mindset, about coming together as women and feeling the same thing and guiding people in the same way. And not nutrition and health is definitely one aspect and a really important one. But all of the other stuff has to work as well.
It does, because if you don't have it all aligned, then you can feel great at one thing, and then all of a sudden another part gets you down. And I talk a lot about that with my alcohol. I was seen to be this very strong lady that's got lots and lots of resilience. I was working out 5-6 times a week. I ate healthily, but what people didn't see was the drinking on the sideline. And actually, I then started feeling like a bit of a fraud, because I wasn't actually showing everybody my true self, and I couldn't actually achieve the most I could possibly achieve, because I've got alcohol in my system, and it was slowing me down, and it was giving me fog. So actually, once I finally got rid of that, then yes. But like you said, you have to align everything, don't you, to be able to.
100%. And I think what I've learned over time and from coaching other people is really about balance of enjoying all of it, if that makes sense. So I think a lot of the time, us as women's, we're always focusing on physicality. It's all about the way we look, whether we want to lose weight and all that type of stuff. But actually, it's all about how you feel, what your mindset's telling you, how you are. But also still enjoying those moments. Like, people seem to think if you do one thing, you've got to stop the other. And if you stop the other, then you have to do the other. So it's kind of like, you just need to find what's right. One, what's right for you. And two, the balance that works for you. So I'm very much, I still drink wine, but the more I keep sowing seeds of not drinking, the productivity. A couple of my friends who are coaches are actually not drinking. And I just like, it doesn't really bother me that much if I do or don't drink. So I'm a little bit like, should I just give it a good go? But then it's funny how our mindset's like, oh yeah, but I've got a night out at that night. And then you stop doing it and you kind of go, oh, okay, I'll do it a little bit, but not a lot. And I've seen more and more about how people are making that change. And then they almost feel a little bit of people are asking them why they're not drinking on a night out and things like that. And you have to be quite a strong character to be able to go, oh, I'm just not doing it and I'm cutting it out. I think people kind of go, oh, go on, have a drink. And they think you're boring if you don't. And you're like, oh, man, I just don't want it. It's fine.
Yeah. I say this, though, that they, at the very start, some people did say to me, oh, go on, have a couple of drinks, Kirst. And I'd be like, no, I'm all right, thank you. They would never dream of saying, do you know what, Kirst, do a couple of lines of Coke. Or, Kirst, do you know what, do a couple of pills. They would never dream of saying that to me. Or, why aren't you doing drugs tonight? So why do they need to do it when it comes to alcohol? But I do think that society is changing. And I do think that actually people are becoming more aware of the benefits of not drinking. I know they're always sort of there, but it's not seen to be quite so uncool anymore, is it?
And I think with all of the stuff that they've got now that's 0%, it's almost like making it attractive to not drink as well, isn't it? Because you're like, you're having a 0% gin and tonic, so you know you're going to feel great, but you're still joining and being part of it, instead of it being you're just having water because you're not a drinker. It's not about not drinking, it's just about the effects of what the drinking has, isn't it? And that's the thing that some people don't get.
No, exactly. I spoke to a friend the other day, somebody who'd not spoken to her for a while, and she approached me about her drinking. And she was going out to the theatre, and she says to me, I'm so worried about what I tell my friends. I don't know whether I should tell them I'm giving up drinking or whether I'm just cutting back for a bit. She said, because I don't want to be seen as this person that keeps saying, oh, I'm going to cut down, and then don't. So she got herself in such a tears. And I said, if they're really good friends and you feel like you can tell them, then tell them. But if you don't want to and you're not ready, then don't. I only told my husband and my son. That's all I told to start off with. And actually, she got herself in such a tears. We managed to calm her down. She went out, and that night, later on that evening, she texted me and she said, they haven't questioned me once about why I'm not drinking alcohol. So she'd got it in her head that they were going to question because she was a bit of a drinker, and actually they haven't questioned her at all. So she's like, this is going to be easier now. Like, some people will question me, but others don't. So it's a mindset thing on everything that we do, isn't it? It's 100%
always about mindset. And I think that kindness that we talk to ourselves, the words that we talk in our head, the scenarios that we create, like you've just said, we almost preempt something before it's ever going to happen, and it never happens that way. Or we don't embrace that, we kind of stay in our comfort zone and don't embrace the fear. And then when you do embrace the fear, you go, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought anyway. So it's trying to keep that consistency of like being kind to yourself, getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, tiptoeing out of your comfort zone slowly but surely. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm this person that does this and helps other people. Like sometimes I sit and think, I can't believe people are actually taking advice from me sometimes. But then sometimes you don't see yourself how other people see you.
No,
it's very
and
weird.
Sometimes you just need somebody else to tell you that. You just need to have somebody else, somebody completely different. You could have been thinking it for absolutely ages, but then somebody else says it and you go, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to do just exactly what you've said. So I think something I've been talking about a lot this week is, like you said, being kind to yourself and thinking about what you say to yourself. And it's silly things like I said, a lady had dropped some clothes in the shop, and she was like, oh, I'm such an idiot, as I went to go and pick them up. I said, don't be daft, it's fine. Like, you've just dropped them, pick them up, it's okay. And off she went. But we talk about ourselves so negatively, don't we? And if we continue to talk to ourselves like that, eventually we're going to start believing it. And you just need to think, if you wouldn't say it to somebody else, don't say it to yourself. Just don't do it. There's no need for you to do it.
That's exactly what I say as advice as well. I literally say, if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. And then people kind of go, oh yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's that reinforcement of message. So where people are, oh, I'm such a klutz, oh, I'm so silly, oh, that's me being thick, all that type of stuff. You're just, all they do is reinforce that negative message of, oh yeah, you are stupid, because you keep saying that to yourself. But you can fold, your neuro pathways can change just by saying it a completely different way. I'm really good at being on time. I'm really good at talking to other people, even though you might be thinking, I'm not sure if I really am. But the more you say that you are, the more you will start to project it, and it will start to happen in your life. And that's all comes down to manifesting and kind of what you say to yourself, and the belief in what's going to happen in the future, or embodying what that person looks like or how that person's going to be. And when you start turning up as that person that you want to be in the future, all of a sudden you start to become them anyway. And then you go, how did I get here and do this?
How did that happen?
And then you're doing it. It's all exciting, and then you want more, and it's always a vicious cycle.
It is. And you tell your children, like I do the transition program for year 6 is going into year 7, and I talk very much about being kind to yourself, and we're teaching our kids to be kind to themselves and to kind to other people. So we really should take note of that. And my little one's getting tested for ADHD and autism. And he's got this habit of, or not habit, it's just something that he does. He thinks so badly of himself. So he'll go, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm thick. And it hurts me. It hurts me so much hearing it. And it's just the tiniest little thing that's happened to him, but he'll just keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it. And I just have to really try and bring him down. And I know a lot of children suffer, and a lot of children say that sort of thing to themselves. And it's so important as parents and carers and people that they look up to that we stop them from saying this stuff to themselves, because actually if they start believing it, and he's 7 yesterday, he starts believing it at 7, he's going to forever believe that. So it's so important that we nip it in the bud early.
100%. And that's a really good thing about kind of affirmations and what we practice and what we show our children and stuff like that. So because you're embodying such positivity because of the knowledge that you have, a lot of it will be rubbing off on him naturally. But then there's stuff, like you said, that happens at school. There's things that they start thinking about themselves because they have got their own minds. But it's creating those affirmations of, okay, well, what are you good at? Tell me about this and tell me about that. Or almost, I've seen quite a few people where they're in the car on the way to school and go, right, what's going to happen today? What good things are going to happen today? Or I say to Isabel, what's the one thing that really made you happy today? Sometimes she goes, I don't know. Or you go, how's school? Yeah, good. Like you don't get a lot. But sometimes she'll start to, the more I ask her those types of questions of positivity, hopefully she'll start to feel that herself, and she'll go, oh, I done this today, which was really good. Or we've had it. I think every child has it as they start to go through school, like where it wasn't even school, but where she was doing swimming, she was doing a little bit of swimming, and then she went under the water, and then it panicked her, and it took her weeks to get back on track. And I'm no good at this, I can't do it, I don't want to do it. She's a classic projector where if she can't do it, she just gives it up. So I've got to work hard on that.
And shifting her from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset then.
100%. And that she's enough. So when she didn't get a certificate, when she's done a bit of dancing, because I'd done some awards, I then said to her, you don't need a certificate to define how good you are. Like you're enough as you are. Like as long as you try your best, that's enough. And the other week when she didn't get a certificate for something else or something, but she said that to my husband, and then she went, that's all right, Daddy, because it's only a bit of paper, I don't need the bit of paper. And so it's just you're like, yes, she's listened. Sometimes you feel like they're never listening, but you know that the more you can keep saying that, the more you can do it. And I posted something on my stories yesterday where I've done a live the other week. I obviously have the tripod with the light on, and then she saw me doing it, and then yesterday she's filming herself talking into the camera. I saw that. Oh God, they do copy what they see. But I meditate in the morning and I journal as well. So she sees that as part of my daily practice, that hopefully she starts to build those habits when she wants to go into that, or she sees that as part of a normal kind of flow. And that's one thing that I kind of try to teach my clients, and you're probably very similar, is awareness is everything. And sometimes when you start to just click onto the awareness of stuff, everything starts to change. You don't have to make big bulk changes in stuff, but actually as soon as you start to go, oh, I've realised I'm on my phone quite a lot actually when I'm around the kids, or I've realised they ask me to play and I don't sit with them. When you start to click onto the awareness of that, you go, no, I'm going to stop for 10 minutes. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just oblivious to all of the stuff that you're doing, and then you're thinking, why are the kids always on the phone? And you're thinking, well, they're seeing what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. I always have to keep reminding myself of that as well.
Well, it's because it's our job as well, isn't it? Our job is to be on our phones, is to message people back. And that's how people communicate now. So for some people, it might look at us and think, do you know what? They're just on their phones all the time. But actually, it's work. It's work for us. But there has to be a balance, doesn't there? There has to be a balance.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on the affirmations again quickly, because when I first heard of affirmations and talked about affirmations, for me, it was standing in front of a mirror and shouting it 5 times, I am wonderful at this, or I'm great at that. And actually, it doesn't have to be like that. So like people think to themselves, I'm not going to be that woman that talks about affirmations. But you mentioned it then. It's as simple as driving home from school, walking home from school. What did you do today? That was great. Or when you're going to school or to work, it's like, what are you going to achieve today? What are you going to, and so then you're giving yourself that positivity on the way home from school or the way home from work. So it doesn't have to be standing in front of the mirror. It doesn't have to be going up to a mountain and shouting it from the top of the mountain. It can just be changing. Affirmations can just be changing your mindset, can't they? And going from a negative to a positive.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the things that I got taught is if you keep repeating, there's 3 ones that she says to me is really important. And I think you probably know them anyway. But it's like, if you constantly say to yourself, I am enough, I am worthy, I am loved, and you keep saying that over and over and over, when things happen to you, I don't know, you're stuck in traffic, you're like, it's fine, because it is what it is, and I'm enough as I am. Or if there's a situation that happens and it's something that you can't control, you're then kind of going, oh, it's because of me, it's because I'm this, it's because I'm that. You can almost go, I am enough, that's fine. I don't need to be anything else, or I don't need to be as good as this other person, and I don't need to be as good as the person in front of me. But you start to just have so much more individualized control instead of comparing yourself to everybody else. So saying just, I'm worthy, I'm enough, I'm loved, is enough to not make you think, oh God, I'm really cheesy, like, oh, I'm really confident and I'm the best at this and I'm the best at that. You're almost just saying, I'm content enough as I am. There's nothing wrong with trying to go and be a billionaire if you really want to, but being content with where you are will always enable you to be grateful for what's the next step above. And having those affirmations and reinforcing that message, I'm all right as I am. I'm on my journey to feel better. I'm on my journey to lose weight. I'm on my journey to be a better parent.
And as you said, you shouldn't
good enough
compare.
as you are.
You shouldn't compare, because actually people do things differently. And if you're trying to get to, you're here, you're A, and you're trying to get to B, do you know what? Some people might take massive jumps and get there, but some people might take little steps, but they're still going to get there. They're still going to get there in their time and in their way. And that's the most important thing, because if you're trying to do it at the pace of everybody else, then what will end up happening is you'll probably end up failing. Or you'll probably end up getting to the stage where you think, do you know what, I'm not good enough. You just need to stop comparing. And you give up, because you just think, what's the point? I can't do it. I'm not doing it at their pace. And that applies for children, for instance, when you've got a baby that's, I don't know, rolled over, or a baby that's crawling or started walking or started talking. They all do it at different paces and different times. And that's okay. And I think a lot of mums really compare themselves and then start questioning their ability as a parent. And actually they should never be like that. They should never. Everyone will get there when they want to get there and when they need to get there. And
a mother's instinct's always right. You will always know what the right thing for them is, and you'll always know if you're pushing them a little bit. Like, I always remember when we had COVID, everyone was like, oh, it's a brilliant time to get Isabel out of nappies and and I started to try
you were going to say that.
And I tried that. And I was just like, she doesn't even know when she's having a wee, let alone getting her to the potty in time to have the wee, if that makes sense. And I was like, she's just not ready. And I just left it to a stage where I was like, I'm just going to let you tell me when you want to do it. And she done it, and she done it really quickly, and there was no frustration or force. And like, even now I'm a little bit like she's 5 and she still wears a nappy to bed because she wets the bed. But she doesn't if she obviously has a nappy on. But in my head, I'm like, she's 5 now, she shouldn't really be wearing it. But then on the other hand, I'm like, but she sleeps through the night and she never has a bad night. So I'm like, I'll just wait for her to tell me when so now she's, or
wait until she's got dry nappies.
Yeah. it's so sporadic. I'm like, right, she's got this, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, for God's sake, she's reading it tonight. Yeah, damn it. So, but then she said to me literally this week, she was like, I don't want to wear nappies to bed anymore. And I said, perfect. Like, right, let's do it over the summer holidays. We'll work on it because then we're not stressed about sleeping and all the rest of it. She's like, okay, mummy, yeah, that's cool. So it's her leading it instead of me being like, you really need to get our nappies and putting the pressure on her. I'm like, just do it when you're ready. It's fine.
And like you said,
you're not hurting anyone. You're not.
Exactly. She's now sleeping through, where you probably got some mums that are like, do you know what? My son, my daughter, they don't have to wear a nappy over night time. Yeah, but do you know what? They're up 5-6 times in the night because they don't sleep very well, whereas your daughter sleeps well but has a nappy on. So everybody is different, and it works.
100%.
Everybody works differently. So it's. So we've totally got off on one. I just want to touch upon quickly on the trek. You're doing a trek. I'm very jealous because I applied for this trek as well. I'm hoping and praying that it comes my way. But tell everyone
you've got to keep applying.
I'm going to. Don't worry.
Yeah, just keep applying. Yeah. So I'm doing Copper Trek, which is Copper Trek with G. So Giovanna Fletcher for Copperfield. So Copperfield is a breast health awareness charity. I am doing in September a 5-day trek across Mont Blanc, which is super daunting but exciting too. So
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, you can watch my stories and I'll be like, I'm dying.
It's all right. I'll make sure you've got your positive affirmations going.
Yeah, you can keep talking to me about it. And it's quite nice because there's 100 women that are going. So we get split into groups of 20 and we do about 8 hours walking a day. So it's going to be incline and declining on the mountains, obviously. And you're with 20 people that who've either suffered with breast cancer, they're in remission, they obviously have family members that have gone through the trauma of it, and they've all going there for all different reasons. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, is actually being around these people that have created so much kind of life-changing elements of, they've kind of almost faced fear in the face and now they're doing it themselves. I think there's people that are kind of, still going through treatment, but I'm still going to do it. And it's just about, one, raising money to help young people check themselves as early as possible, because a lot of people don't check and then it's too late. But you can definitely get, if you catch it early enough, you can cure it and be in remission for years and years and years. And for me, it was a bit of a three-pronged kind of approach. I had one of my friends her daughter's in school with Isabel. She went through breast cancer, and within a year she had it out. She had chemo, she had radiotherapy, and she's now just on a chemo tablet. So she's applying for next year as well. So I've tried to get her to apply. And then I've got, because I'm a coach for women, I want to be around women, and I feel like, I don't know, there's just something in me that I'm like, I feel like I need to be around these people and I can help them in some way. And also for the challenge myself, I am active. I wouldn't say I'm really sporty, but I love to do these big things. I think the application was at the beginning of January. So it was very much like, what am I going to do for this year? And then I applied, and then I was like, oh my God, I got in.
This is what I'm doing.
Do it. Yeah. So I've done that with the marathon. Like, why don't we just do a marathon? And then all of a sudden, like, why have I done this? But yeah, I'm excited. I've got to raise just under £3,000, and I'm about £500 away now from the target. So that's really good. Yeah, I'm so pleased with that. And you'll be able to watch all my stories and stuff, because I'll be plugging lots and talking about it lots. And I'll make sure you get to apply as well.
Yes, I will. I will definitely be applying. Oh, that's amazing though. So where can people find you? Where can they see you on the socials?
So my socials are at Jenny_Williams 2016. The reason for that is because that's when my name changed when I got married, is 2016.
Yeah.
And then on my website, inspireandachieve.uk. So all of my pages are all linked together on the socials anyway, and Jenny Williams in LinkedIn or in Facebook.
Perfect. And then what I'll also do is I will make sure that we put the details up about the trek, and I should imagine there'll be a website, but that'll also tell people how to check themselves as well, won't it, on the website? It gives you all of those details. So actually it would be great if people can go and take a look at that. And then it doesn't matter if you're doing it in the shower or lying down in your bed or standing up in your bedroom, or even if you want to get your husband or your boyfriend to have a feel, get anyone to have a feel. Let's make sure that we are all checking. So we'll put all those details up as well. Amazing. Oh, well, thank you ever so much for joining me. It's been
thank you.
It's been great to chat.
It's whizzed by the time.
I know. I feel like we could have chatted for ages, but this is.
I know. I'm a nightmare. I overtalk far too much.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. We can definitely get you back on, maybe after the trek.
Yes.
Give yourself some time to recover, and then we'll bring you back on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I look
Ah,
forward to that. And thank you so much for having me. I really
no,
appreciate it.
no worries. Thank you.
Cheers, Kirsty.